You are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business. Tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Christine Campbell-Rappin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Podcasting as a strategy is still as hot as ever. And yet, for those that are in the business world, not everyone has the time, capacity, and interest to launch their own show. And that is why podcast guesting has become a real strong opportunity for many to get in front of potential new buyers. However, not everybody does a great job, and the growth of agencies that are really helping business owners find great podcasts is rising. And so, someone who is a host, I get pitched all the time, and some do a great job and some leave a lot to be desired, and it might not be helping you as much as you need it to if that is your strategy. So I am excited to introduce to you a real expert, not just in podcasting, but has a great agency that is successful at getting their clients booked and getting the results for the clients that paid for the service. So give a warm welcome to Mark Hayward. Welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you today.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much for having me as a guest. I really appreciate it.
I am absolutely thrilled to have you. So let's talk about the growth of podcast guesting and why people should consider if it's worth their time to be the one soliciting and pitching shows, or whether they should partner with somebody who's got a little more expertise and focus on that to do it well.
So the first thing is a growing medium. It's now been described as mainstream media. So we've now got globally like 462 million listeners globally of podcasts. And so podcasting is really developing as a media strategy for people to go out and be able to communicate with people, talking to the hosts about how they grow their business or their particular specialization. Now, podcast hosting is incredibly labor intensive, and I know you understand this, Christine. I also do with my own show. But podcast guesting is a really relatively quick way of being able to be on other people's shows, to be able to talk about your expertise, your knowledge, and your experience. So if you're a business owner, and that's predominantly who we work with, then you're able to tell your journey. You're able to how you serve your clients. You're able to talk about how you've grown your business. And so podcast guesting is a way, it's a very much centered around your message and how you have grown that business. So it's a great way for business owners to be able to tell their story and be able to explain to people why they should be thinking about buying your service.
And it is, I love that you say it's a mainstream media, because I was at an event several months ago and people were talking, particularly with video podcasting, and video podcasting, there is, I think, a real mixed bag between people saying, video was so interesting on the video podcasting space for a while. Has it aged? Has it not? But there was a perspective for somebody who's very well known in the media world, traditional TV media, who said video podcasting is a TV show. And I thought, that's an interesting perspective. It's got a different label in the modern language, but I wonder if it's really true. So you, given your expertise, I'd love to know, what do you think, is that true? If it's traditional media, what can we do to equip ourselves to be a great guest?
So just on the growth of video, so platforms like YouTube are now so much easier to discover shows than it is on Spotify and Apple. So we are finding, I've now started releasing my show as a YouTube video as well. So it really is a growth medium. Not all shows are leveraging video, but I would say that it's a growing trend, and that's being dictated by people's habits are that they are watching YouTube for podcasts as well. So it is here to stay. It's here to expand and grow. And as you say, you can treat it like a television program, and that you're creating a small bit of media that is being out there to be able to serve your listeners on audio as well as video. But podcast guesting is such a great way of being able to get to other audiences that you normally wouldn't be able to reach. So people listen to podcasts or watch podcasts for two different things. You've got shows that you love the host and you'll listen to every single episode that there is, or people will cherry pick when they hear something that's interesting, either in their niche or their area that they want to talk about, and listen to, consume that data. But back to podcast guesting, it is such a great way of being able to give a fuller story to what your area of expertise is. If you get a PR placement and you get on breakfast television or national radio, you're probably going to get 3 or 4 minutes where you're going to talk about something in the news headlines. But with a podcast and being a guest on other people's shows, it means that it's a conversation, it's a fuller experience for the listener and the watcher to be able to connect with that person. It's a great way of connecting with people and for them to understand what inspires you, what drives you, what's your expertise, what's your knowledge, what do you know, and how is your business different to other people within the market. So it's a fantastic marketing strategy to be able to grow your business and be able to get out there and share your message as well.
I would love some perspective because I 100% agree. It is a huge marketing opportunity. And honestly, you can create from one guest experience a very long tail of redistribution of content. You can create a very large library. The potential for a large library of content is there because you're right. It's not 3 minutes. Typically, it could be 10 or 20 or 30, or some podcasts go on for significantly longer. How can people make it not just a good potential marketing strategy, but actually use it? Because I know as a host, a lot of people do show up, pitch the show, record the show, and then don't do a great job using the tool after the session. And what do you coach your clients to do to really tap into that potential after the recording moment stops?
So there's a couple of things. So when they release and put it on social media, you should be liking, sharing, reposting. You should be asking for the long form video if it's recorded on a video, and you should be thinking about putting that on your website. If it's a really good conversation and it talks about the key messages that you want to talk about, get it on your website. It's another element of social proof. But one of the biggest areas which is booming in podcasting, and which is great for you to be able to share with your audience, is repurposing content. So that means cutting up longer format, so a podcast conversation, and that's for you requesting the podcaster, can you share the raw video with me? And when cutting that up into 60 seconds, 90 seconds clips that you can then share on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on any platform that you are active on and you are prioritizing as your marketing strategy. So that whole element of repurposing, we talk a lot about that in the coaching side of what we do and how we can help our clients get to that point, whether that is doing it themselves or hiring someone, or we are offering a service we're trialing at the moment in our business that we're actually helping and repurposing content for our clients as well. So it is an absolute must. If anyone is on any platform, like I see it constantly on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, people cutting up short 60, 90 seconds to be able to then put it on their socials, to be able to, as you say, now the podcast will last forever. That's not going anywhere, but having those clips can be a great way of being able to promote you and promote your product or service.
And I think there is a good tip here for both the guest and for the host, which is have a conversation about the marketing of the show after the recording. We are in our business, we often will share the raw footage because we do want the clips out there. We want the bigger ripple for the shared audience, which podcasting is. You're coming onto a platform, you're borrowing the host's network, audience, and listener base, social platforms. And for the guest, we hope that you want to use this content for your website, for your socials, and please have some courtesy and tag the host in the show. Please cast the ripple back. we are also exploring, not everyone will have the skills, interest to take the raw footage and repurpose it. So I know, having been a guest and a host, really helping set people up by providing the tools, because if you provide the tools, you have a better chance of people executing the tools. But I for sure would say have a conversation about what will happen, not just after the show, but how will we both contribute to the marketing strategy. And I'm curious for you, because you run an agency where people, business owners, can hire you to be the advocate who helps find the show, who helps guide them, you say, coaching them to execute the marketing well. Why should people consider an agency, and what are the benefits of it?
It's a lot of work doing it on your own.
It is.
It's a lot of work also for a VA or PA or someone's admin support to be finding shows and outreaching to shows. So and they don't have the expertise that we have. We've been running this business for 4.5 years. We are at the stage where I spoke to someone last night who signed up with us and had a VA that was doing it, and we analyzed the shows that she'd been on, and they were very low ranking scores. So we were saying to her, look, with our wealth of experience, with our connections, and we have a directory, which means that we can outreach to any show globally. We've had the processes, we've nailed down the processes of outreaching to podcasters, creating a really compelling bio. We have the expertise that if you hired someone, an admin support, to do this, they wouldn't be able to do it as effectively and as quickly and efficiently and get you on that steady stream of shows that we can get you on. And so it's really down to experience, expertise, and having our processes really nailed down to get you on great shows and pitch you to those shows, that they are compelled, because of your experience, your expertise, and your knowledge, that you would be a great guest on their shows.
Guys, and this is smart money. I want you to hear this. You've been around for a while on our show. We know we talk about smart money decisions. Whether you're hosting a show or guesting, you have to choose this as a strategic priority. You have to know where it sits within your time, and you have to make smart money decisions around it in order to make sure that the effort provides you the impact that you seek. Because I know so many people in the podcasting space who spend 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, easily looking for shows, getting on shows. And I say at the end of the day, that's 10 hours. Was it the most effective use of your time? It absolutely can be.
Yep.
But too many say, well, I was busy, and said, busy isn't the same as effective as a business owner. And we got to remember, guys, every hour is a choice we make. So one thing I will talk about now, the opposite side, because I do agree with you 100%. Smart money decisions. So definitely come check out what Mark's company does. But you also have a show, and you've really helped grow your show. Most people, podcast fatigue is still as relevant in our current year as it has been for many, which is most people go, I love the idea of a podcast. What would I say? How do I get started? And they spend so much time fussing about the mic and all those things. But they die at episode 3. And our show is over 100. We're almost at 150, give or take, somewhere in that ballpark when this show airs. But you have a podcast that is like well past that, like grandpa hours in terms of how many episodes you're out there. Talk about that experience and the love for still doing it and what made that difference. Because when you start, you've got to commit to this. This is a long tail strategy.
It is. So most shows don't get to 50. And if you think about that, if you're releasing one a week, that's pretty much a year's worth of activity. Most people don't get a year into podcasting. So I've been doing my show for 8 years, 540 episodes released, over 250 interviews. And when it started, I was still working in corporate. And the whole idea was that I wanted to get better at communicating. I was starting to talk to industry leaders and doing these talks, and I was agonizing. So I just got myself a microphone and started talking about things to do with business. And it just started that way. There was no ambition for it to be a huge show. It was just a side project to get myself better at communicating. Probably about 100 episodes in, I was probably releasing 2 or 3 5 to 10 minute episodes. And about 100-ish, 120 episodes in, a friend of mine said, well, why don't you do interviews? And I hadn't even thought about it. I knew there was obviously podcasts that did interviews. And he said, look, you interview me. So I went over to his house in North London and we recorded the first interview show. And I had a blast. I really enjoyed that whole idea of tapping into other people's experiences, other people's stories, and just getting a little bit deeper into what drives them, what inspires them, what means that they can be superb, can be excellent at their given area. And so it just started to build from there. And then I suppose it's really down to a little bit of bloody mindedness. I just like doing it, and I don't have any ambition to stop, any idea to stop. It's just a really fun way that I get to talk to people and tap into their expertise and learn stuff from them constantly. Every episode I'm picking up things that I didn't know or needed it refreshed. I get to ask the questions that I want to ask. It can be a very selfish exploration idea. And sometimes you're getting free coaching in that you're having these conversations. So for me, the growing of the interview style was a little bit of getting to know people as well in business, in entrepreneurship. I've done so many referrals and sort of connections with people in my other parts of networking and the people that are on my show as well. So there's a lovely loop where you do your preparation, you learn about these people, you do a recording, you understand these people and get very deep into what motivates them. You then release and you start seeing whether it's responding well, whether you're getting good listeners. And then the last bit is connecting with people and trying to stay in contact. Just a quick story on the podcast guesting business. My business partner, who's based in Tampa, Florida, was a guest on my show. And we started a business a year after we first met him being on my show, and we started this business. So we are living proof that podcast guesting and podcasting can start collaborations, partnerships, and businesses. So I just wanted to drop that in there, just to leave that with your audience. But back to the podcast. And so I just love the experience of talking to people that probably wouldn't normally be able to connect with, and sort of get in contact with them and learn what motivates them, what inspires them, and why they're great at what they do.
I love that you say that. When I launched this podcast, I launched just with guest interviews, and I added the solo episodes. At least we were past 50 when we did it. And I built the podcast simply for collaboration, for referrals. I was looking for great experts my clients and my network would need to hire. And I was vetting through the research, through the conversation, through that relationship time spent, saying, this is a good person. When you're ready for that, here's an expert to go hire. And so I want the audience to hear this. There's a million ways to create a show. It has to be fun in order for you to stay with it. And it has to be part of a strategic vision that you have. And that vision can evolve. We're business owners. Evolution is a real part of the game that we play. But I want you to see that there are huge upsides. This is not a trend that is going away, and it can be incredibly powerful as a long tail strategy. And so I asked this question of all of our guests, and I'm curious for you, and you and I are in a business networking space together, so I get a bit of behind the scenes storyline here. But what is working right now in your business to amplify it, to find new leads, to get into conversations, to expand your reach of potential people that you could serve?
So a diversified marketing strategies. So for me, it's super important to not be over reliant on one strategy. So we are now, and I do this for my show as well as my business, we are now posting regular email newsletters to people with opportunities to connect and refer and and start being a guest. I'm very, very active on LinkedIn as a great marketing strategy of connecting with people. I'm networking with some really amazing groups. I'm doing my show. I'm being on other people's shows as well. I think I've got to be a guest on people's shows because I've got to stay close to the market and understand like where it's evolving and where it's changing. So I'm a regular guest on other people's shows. But yeah, that whole idea of having a diversified marketing strategy is so critical for you, that you're not over reliant on one strategy when it changes, an algorithm changes, and then you're suddenly exposed to risk. So and I think innovation, thinking about doing things differently and constantly evolving your marketing, my show, how we serve our clients, it has to be an evolution of services and ideas and marketing strategies to be able to keep yourself relevant and keep yourself out there and being able to promote what you want to promote, whether it's a business, whether it's a book, whether it's a podcast. So I would say diversified marketing is definitely a major way.
I love that. And I know for sure your phone rings as much as mine does when someone says, I'm completely hooped because the flow has been cut unexpectedly due to an algorithm change or due to restricted access or any number of things. I also love, and I will say it, one of the things I heard the most about how you were doing it is it was still very people focused and relationship focused. My friends, you know that he didn't say, I let everything automate in the background. Relationships are such a big part of this. And the podcasting experience is a live conversation. It is why it accelerates the relationship fast. And so I want people to come find you. I want them to look at your services, partnering with you, listening to your show. How do people find you?
So if you want to find the show, go on any podcast app or on YouTube and search Business Growth Talks and you'll find me. If you want to connect regarding podcast guesting, you've got two ways of doing that. Go into the website, which is podcastintroduction.com, or I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can connect with me and DM me on there.
Guys, please take that opportunity. There's a huge opportunity ahead of you to get involved with podcasting guesting. Mark is a fantastic resource to learn from, to partner with. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on our show today. Guys, go do this. This is absolutely one of the most effective ways to broaden your reach. And you can do it and outsource some of it with really great partners to get you there faster. Thanks for being here today, guys. We will see you all on our next episode.
Thanks a lot.
That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell-Rappin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrappin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.